What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment. And I did want to go into, I didn't forget, final week. Well, not the final week, but the final regular season week of college football. We've been playing some interim basketball. I go over in my Discord all the time, but basically these are some metrics we played today. Just teams that have covered, and then teams that haven't hit the over have hit the over. So basically, it's just like a little rough draft, but I went over yesterday. We'd like the Warriors, Knicks, and Grizzlies to cover, like the Wolves and Lakers to cover. And because of the metrics, I don't think the Clippers go under again, and I don't think the Celtics go over again. That's just same with the Thunder. We did the same with basketball, and it's essentially what we've been doing with college football all year. The difference today is we do have narratives because it's the last week of the season, so certain things have to happen. For example, in my opinion, and I've been bringing up USC quite a bit here. When they played UCLA last week, I knew they were going to win because they have to have an argument for a Pac-12 team to be in the Final Four, and I feel like USC has to win for them to at least have that argument. So it'll keep people discussing. Say they don't get in. Then people are going to be contemplating whether TCU deserved to get in. But I do think they actually get in. And that being said, they need a pretty impressive victory. They can't just narrowly win. They talked about this themselves, how the announcers all the time, and towards the end of the year, they've been talking about how decisive your victories are make a big difference. So if USC has a very, decisive victory and LSU barely wins, the fact that USC, if they win the Pac-12, that's in my opinion going to push them into the Final Four. So they're only given 4.5. I love USC to cover this 4.5. I think they win by at least a touchdown. They want to make Caleb Williams look really good, and you could argue that maybe more of the public's going to be on USC, but I don't. Again, there's so many games. I think in some games there's narratives, and some games there's traps. And as you know, in most cases, I'm just betting the metrics. Speaking of metrics, there is Kentucky here. I love Kentucky here. The over-under. It's set at 43, and that's for a reason. It's because Kentucky is 1-10 at 9% on the under. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen, but if they were to go under, they'd be making a little bit of history, because there has not been a team in quite a while. Now, again, 2020 was a shortened season, and even in that year, you didn't have a team finish that 9%. So for Kentucky to go under again, I'm not saying it can't happen. As you can see, there are teams that finish with 2, and if we go back far enough, we'll probably find one that finished with just 1. There we go, North Texas, 5 years ago. So again, not saying it can't happen, but history is on our side that it's unlikely that both Kentucky and Colorado State finish with just 1 on the over. So what that means is we're playing Kentucky, but if they're not to win, we have a nice double up in Colorado State. And that's why I do the system the way I do. It's just betting the metrics that both of those teams defying history would be pretty interesting. So 2 teams I love is the over on Kentucky and the over on, if that doesn't hit, either way actually, on Colorado State. Now, there are teams in here like Houston that we faded a couple times for the under, and they finally came through for us. And then honestly, finishing 9-2 on the over/under, I think that's what Houston would be, because they pushed a couple times, isn't too crazy. Now here, I do like Iowa State for a few reasons. One, they're pushing this narrative that TCU is a comeback in the second half team. Second half type of team. They're pushing this narrative that they're just getting wins, they're just getting by, and that's why they don't deserve to be in the Final Four, the college playoffs. So I don't see them steamrolling Iowa State here. I think the story with TCU is kind of just the team that crept in, so they're going to finish most likely undefeated, but I do like Iowa State to cover that spread. Again, all because of the picture. Same thing with USC. To me, these are all pictures that they're trying to paint. Here, I love Miami to cover this spread. I'm not even gonna. I'll wait and see if it changes, and I'll probably wind up buying the 0.5 point. But I do like Miami Hurricanes because same metric. Now, again, not that it can't happen, but just the odds. And there are really bad teams that will finish with one or, just two. There's nothing, not saying it can't happen, but that's more likely to happen with, say, Colorado than it is with Miami, who has been awful this year, but at least their defense has been good. So I'm going to take Miami to cover that. I'm going to make it 7, or wait, and hopefully it is 7. And I do think they cover that official spread. And Stanford and Tulsa, you can play for the same metric. Now, I did notice last year Stanford also finished with, I think, only 2 wins on the spread. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Oh, it was last year. They were 3-9. So you could do with that what you want. But I do like Miami. I do like Stanford, both to cover their spreads. And again, these are simple metrics. Some are narratives. The narratives are more for the teams that are going to be making the playoffs, of course. But the metrics fit for teams like Kentucky, teams like that I just went over, Miami, teams like Colorado State. Colorado State. Just teams that haven't gone over or under, or they've covered the spread and abysmal amount of times, like once, or they've covered it a ridiculous amount of times, like 10 or 11. So those are the games that really stuck out to me at first. There weren't many others that I can remember. Let me see. I looked at Clemson. Nothing really jumped off the page at me there. I know people want to play Michigan. I can say I think Ohio State beats them pretty bad. I like them as a first sequence, Ohio State, to win this game. For the simple fact, I think they want to really push. They need to knock Michigan out because we know they're going to be knocked out. So when they lose, they can't just be knocked to 4th. So they got to lose pretty bad, in my opinion, so they can be flipped by USC or another team. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's going to be they might start it off looking close, but I think they want this looking decisive. So I think Ohio State covers the spread easily, and there's a good chance that they rout, in my opinion, Michigan. And looking through the other games, there's none other that really jump out to me. I can go into some others. For example, in a game like this, I'm leaning Washington State because it looks like a trap. And then again, this late in the season, there are certain teams, they do want to make the Pac-12 look good. So by having, Washington 10-2, I think Oregon can be 10-2. You can have UCLA 10-2 and USC 11-1. It could strengthen the argument of the winner of the Pac-12 needs to get in. So I'm not officially playing Washington State yet, but that was just my initial thoughts on that. But that's about 5-6 games. Now, if any games fit that metric, you can play them. I just wanted to go into the ones that I'm definitely locking in. And as a second leg, I'm probably going to be going Kentucky. And like I said, if they miss, we'll go to Colorado State. Okay, so this one's almost over. I didn't even know that. So it looks like this one's not going to hit. This was a first leg here. It was Wolves, Hornets. And unless it goes to overtime, it looks like, which I doubt. It looks like that one's not going to hit. And then the rest that I picked for today still coming up. Obviously, if you didn't see my last video, we're rolling with the Knicks covering. We have Celtics under. Again, these are all simple metrics. We opted not to play the Heat. We opted not to play the Hawks. Grizzlies covering. Lakers covering. Warriors covering. And the over on the Clippers. Mostly because of metrics, some because of narratives. So I want to look at tomorrow's games. Okay, we have time, so I'll just have my video out before any of tomorrow's games. Right off the bat, in case it's not by 5, I can say I love the Mavericks to cover. This record against the spread does not hold. They're probably going to blow the Raptors out of the gym. This is a game where they just need to. Like, literally, unless they're just not going to make them a playoff team or they're just going to make them look like trash, there's no reason for the Mavericks not to blow the Raptors out of the gym in this game. So I'll go more into the basketball, but I just wanted to go into see if there's any early games, which there's not. So that's what I like for football. If there's any particular games I didn't cover, just let me know. And also I can, if I see any games like, later games, 4 o'clock that I missed, I'll get it out tomorrow morning. But I do like to get all the ones that I've either locked in already or planned to, like this game here. I do like Iowa State. and all the other ones I went over. And again, these are all covers, okay? Because my theory is, if Iowa State want to be interesting, but it's more, I think TCU is just not going to look amazing. Miami, I think they're covering because of the metric. So I have them covering for different reasons, but they're all covers. It's rare I just play money lines. If it is, I'll let you know. But yeah, so that's for tomorrow. And again, just let me know if there's any that you want me to go over. There's so many basketball picks, it's really hard for me to get all of them out. And a lot of these schools are just schools that I'm going off of my 0% against the spread metric. So I just put a lot of those picks out on my Discord. A lot of people aren't really too interested in the college basketball anyway. But if you are, I'll put out college basketball. It just seems like, people look a little more forward to the pros and to college football. But yeah, if there's a game you want me to go over, let me know. And take care, everybody, and happy earnings.